Hey everybody, this is Andrew at Record Collector's Paradise. It's October 2022. And what do you think of when you think of October? Well, if you're like me, it's kind of the spooky season. Things are getting a little cold outside, but also getting closer and closer to a lot of people's favorite time of the year, Halloween. People usually think of spooky stuff, scary movies. But of course, we're a record store, so what does that have to do with anything? Well, what goes hand in hand with scary movies and horror movies? Heavy metal music. We have just acquired one of the better heavy metal collections we've ever acquired at the store, secondhand. All 80s, all heavy metal and related stuff. And we're going to be rolling this out once every weekend. So 4 times this month, we're going to be rolling out separate bundles. And you're not going to believe what you're going to see. Today, we're going to start out pretty simple with a whole bunch of stuff from North America. Like I said, this is all vintage. This is all secondhand. This is all from the 80s. And here's the best part. Here's the most unique part, I should say. Pretty well everything you see is going to be either UK, German, or otherwise European presses. Because that's who we got this collection from, was a fellow from Germany. And he bought this stuff while he was in Germany, in Europe. And yeah, we're going to kick it off pretty hard right here. Check it out. Boom, right there. Skid Row debut album, original European pressing. A lot of the stuff in this collection, the condition is pretty darn good. And of course, it's all been hand cleaned and re-sleeved by us. So let's go from something really classic to something a little more obscure. Heir Apparent, Graceful Inheritance. Really good stuff out of Seattle. If you're a fan of Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, you'll really like these guys. And we got a true legend of the game, Dio himself. If you haven't heard Holy Diver, I can't recommend that enough for classic metal. Anthrax, Spreading the Disease, another classic. Let's get obscure again. Anacrusis, Suffering Hour. These guys are super detuned, sludgy, death metal vocals. This is from, I believe, 88 or 89. Really deep, heavy stuff. If you like where metal was starting to turn in the late 80s, you'll definitely like that. Next we have Attila with Rolling Thunder. These guys are out of New York. Flotsam and Jetsam, No Place for Disgrace. That's an example of something on Roadrunner. There's a fair amount of Roadrunner stuff in this collection. Queensryche, 12-inch single, Jet City Woman. Speaking of Queensryche, here's two of the classics. Now check this one out. The band is called Hawaii, and they're actually from Hawaii. It's one of the few things they ever put out. Kind of a melodic blend of Metallica and Scorpions, I would say. TT Quick, Metal of Honor. Some more legends in Overkill, Taking Over. Love that album cover. Winger, In the Heart of the Young. Here's one we were really excited to see. Fate's Warning, Awaken the Guardian. It's their third album, and I believe, yeah, that's on Roadrunner, aka Metal Blade. Produced by Brian Slagle, the late Brian Slagle, rest in peace. Great White, Shot in the Dark. So here's kind of some more hair metal, glam metal legends, but solid stuff just the same. Cinderella, first couple 80s albums. We see these every now and then. Obviously not European imports very often, but here's something we see a little less often from them. A live EP from the early days. Now let's hit up a nice fat stack of another legendary band. Man of War. Can't beat this stuff. So this is their first two albums. This is all examples of their first albums, including their first two. Now let's hit up another giant stack. We got a lot of call for these guys. Sabotage. Not only do we have them, we have their first 5 albums plus an early EP, which I believe was recorded at the same time as their first album. And in case you're not sure, this is in fact their first album, Sirens. This is just a 1986 reissue in which they put on new artwork for whatever reason. So next up, we're gonna have a little fun with things. We got some picture discs. The bands are a little more common, but these are still pretty fun to see. Kiss, Reason to Live. Got a buzzsaw-shaped Def Leppard interview disc. And speaking of Def Leppard, there's a triangle-shaped single. We got a bunch of Poison, actually. So there's Every Rose Has Its Thorn, Fallen Angel. There's the Open Up and Say Ah album in picture disc form. Another single, Talk Dirty to Me. And another single, we got Guns N' Roses, November Rain. And check this out, here's a Kiss album, very rare item. Bit of a price tag on that one. Speaking of price tags, we're going to skip right to one of the most rare and desirable and valuable pieces. Medieval Steel. These guys were out of Memphis, Tennessee. This is the only thing they put out in the 80s. This is a 4-track EP. They also put it out on cassette. Good luck finding that. Never mind on vinyl. This is some pretty cool melodic power metal. They play with some fantasy lyrics. You have to hear the guitar work on this. And yeah, no matter what, if you're having second thoughts about this, I'm pretty sure there's less than 1,000 copies of this in the world, so give this some serious thought. And one more picture disc item for you. There's Def Leppard's Hysteria. Pretty cool art design with a gatefold, or not a gatefold, a die cut sleeve. Let's mix it up a bit more. Let's get into some Canadian action. Here we have Fist. These guys started out more like hard classic rock. Got a little heavier as they went. We see their first couple albums more often than not, but this one's a little tougher to find. Definitely worth checking out. Next we have Anvil, classic Canadian heavy metal. We don't see this one too often. Sword, out of Quebec. 2 copies, no less. We rarely see these guys, even in Canada. If you don't know, we are a store in Canada. And we have one of my favorite, I call these, some people classify them under kind of the glam hair metal. To me, they're almost like alternative glam hair metal. I love these guys. I love Dokken. If you've not heard Beast from the East, their Double Live album, but you do for sure like their studio albums, you have to have this. It's everything you could want. Extended solo jams. It's tremendous stuff. Really well recorded as well. So now we're going to have a big fat stack of bands out of California. We're going to have a bit of a marathon here. Lizzie Borden, Visual Eyes. Malice, License to Kill. I'm tempted to buy this just for the album art alone, but no, we're going to save this for you guys. Here's a classic band, Attila. And if you like this album, here's a single for it, a 12-inch single. It's from their debut album. Plus the single has this cool little hype sticker promoting their tour with Def Leppard there. Agent Steel, Skeptic's Apocalypse. I love that title. Shout, It Won't Be Long. It's pretty on the melodic hard rock edge, but really good stuff. Rat, Can't Beat Rat. These guys used to be pretty common for us, but everyone wants them now, so as soon as we find them, they usually sell. Impellitteri. Not sure we've ever seen vintage Impellitteri before. Warrior, Fighting for the Earth. Awesome stuff. Griffin, Flight of the Griffin. Vicious Rumors, Soldiers of the Night. I know it's a bit of a stereotype, but this is classic paintings on the side of a heavy metal van material right there. Just awesome artwork. Here's a band a lot of people sleep on, Leatherwolf. We've seen some of their vintage albums before, including these. They didn't last long, so scope those out while you can. Well, let's go with a big band. The Crew, Too Fast for Love. Obviously not the original artwork, but still pretty rare. Everyone wants this right now. Just like they do Shout of the Devil. So you know what? Why not offer you one Shout of the Devil when you can offer you two? Lock and load. And here's a band that's obviously a classic, but they've become even more in vogue lately, if you can believe that. Metallica. There's the Garage Days Revisited EP. UK original copy of Ride the Lightning. UK original copy of Kill 'Em All. Check that out. Now check these out. We were looking at some picture discs earlier. Here's one. This one is for Jump in the Fire with Phantom Lord. Those are both cuts off of Kill 'Em All from the Cliff Burton era. And here's something unique. Sparkle Gold Anniversary Edition of Creeping Death single. That originally came out in '84 from Ride the Lightning, but this was reissued in '86. Now here's another band that goes well with following that gold record. Here we have the Black and Yellow Attack, Striper. Pretty solid run of their 80s classics here. To Hell with the Devil, classic track. Isaiah 53:5. And speaking of picture disc, here's To Hell with the Devil on a limited numbered picture disc with a promo poster. Let's clear the table here. We got to make room with our final band of the day, one that's perfect for Halloween. We've got Wasp. We have just about a full 80s run of their albums and 12-inch EPs and singles. These guys are wild, they're innovative. And speaking of Halloween, here's one just in time for Halloween. Scream Until You Like It, theme song from Ghoulies 2. Awesome stuff. So yeah, like I said, this is just the beginning. This is just the first part of this metal collection that I mentioned. Like I said, we're rolling these out every weekend in October, and it's culminating in the perfect band for this month. You can probably pick up on who that might be, but in the meantime, like I said, head into the store every Saturday. That's when we bring out new batches of these things. And case in point, all the records you see in this video, these are all going to be put out this Saturday. So yeah, like I said, there's more to come. And just like we say at Record Collectors Paradise all the time, we're just getting started.